Hey y'all, because some of you asked, here it is. I'm never selling no, I'm never letting my balls go, I'm holding out forever, yeah, I'm taking a loan, zero interest, yeah, no keys, oh, amazing wealth creation in the liquid loan seas. I'm never selling no, I'm never letting my balls go, I'm holding out forever, yeah, I'm taking a loan, earn in many ways, each such great financial praise, community on fees, and no counterparties. I'm never selling no, I'm never letting my balls go, I'm holding out forever, yeah, I'm taking a loan.
If I could whistle, I'd whistle. Jesse, the pit boss, Jesse, the galaxy brain, smashes it again. We're back on this fine Tuesday. The dream team, Miyamoto, Matt, and Jesse are here to talk about the power of never selling your crypto, the power of the loan token, and we're going to be taking your wonderful questions. How are you doing, Jesse, on this fine day today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Very, very, very good. What has been going on in the world of liquid loans so far this week?
Well, 10 and a half days ago, we entered our sacrifice phase where people in the community could stand up in opposition to centralized stablecoins and all the problems that come with them. And they could do that by sacrificing them, getting rid of them, in the hopes that a community-built trustless system would emerge under the Pulse chain. All right, so we're 10 and a half days in. It looks like 7,744 unique wallets are going to be strong believers in the new system, the way to take back DeFi. I do think some of those wallet addresses are pooled addresses. So if we had to guess, without going to the blockchain and doing some chain analysis, we're probably closer to 11 to 12,000 people who are standing up in support.
Wow.
So it's pretty tremendous that the community's rallying together for all the core principles of DeFi. It's our turn to take back DeFi.
Absolutely. Like 10 or 11,000 people believe in a better way, right? At the moment, what are the options? You've got fractionally reserved centralized stablecoins, which we know have counterparty risk. And as this new system, Pulse Chain, comes out, which is true DeFi, and obviously we've seen other stuff which Richard Hart has done, which is true DeFi, like Hex. Obviously, this is the next logical step.
Yeah, we need trustless systems. It's the only way, right? So the other stablecoin protocols that are owned by the central institutions, they take money from people, they fractionally reserve, so they're not all backed. And the ones that are backed by fiat, which itself has, endless money printing, fractionally reserved. Like there's more debt than there is money, right? So it is fractionally reserved. It's just a broken system, and we don't want the power back into the hands of all these central institutions. We want to control our financial future. So the only way that you can get away from that is by having an algorithmic protocol that backs the value to something else, $1 worth of Pulse in this case. And it's just a beautiful system. I'm glad that the community has learned, researched, and understand that this is going to be massive. This is going to make waves in DeFi.
100%, because it's the community's bank, right? It's like built by the people for the people. truly decentralized, immutable, no admin keys. If you're a loan staker and you lock up into the loan staking pool, that's the fee generating token. You're going to be generating all the fees in the system. But before we get into that, let's touch on the main point that we're going to kick off this live stream, which is never selling your crypto and how powerful that is. Because I think a lot of people,
Right.
you know, the markets have been quite choppy recently. It started going down. We had a big pump yesterday. Bitcoin and everything is up maybe 10% last time I checked. And of course, people love it when the markets are up and they want to take profits. But there's consequences with that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously, if you run off straight to a DEX, you're going to have some sort of slippage, depending on the size that you're trying to dump. You know, it could be small, inconsequential, but it could also be big. It could be 1% or 2 or 3 right off the top gone. But then you're also going to have some capital gains tax off of that. Depending on when you first bought that asset, you know, you could pay as much as 36%. That's just going to immediately disappear to a government. Or if you forget to set it aside later, you're going to be screwed when you have to try and find that money to give to your government. All right. So the alternative is do what the wealthiest people in the world do. And it's actually not new to crypto. There's 25 different lending protocols over on Ethereum chain, right? The biggest one is probably Maker, which is the lending protocol that creates DAI. And Liquid Loans is very similar to that, with some features that make it even more decentralized than what DAI and Maker are. So it's just a beautiful thing to be able to take what's likely to be one of your best appreciating assets and never sell it.
What about this quick question here? Can the Gov ever step in and stop this or even make special tax regulations on a loan from Liquid Loans?
Well, crypto loans actually aren't new. I was in a conversation with somebody from the community today, and it's that a lot of people in crypto are just not in tune with these things. Because as soon as you get into crypto, usually all you hear is moon math, big numbers. I'm going to sell at a certain X, 10X, 100X. Oh, I can't wait for it to go up so I can sell. And that's like ingrained in these crypto communities to sell. That's all you hear. Sell. It's such a, we're going to get rich and we're going to sell. But then you have the smartest ones who sit back, and you see some big guys in crypto who say, you know what? We have assets in other places, like big real estate guys, people who are diversified who say, you know what? Let's apply the same principles to crypto that we do everywhere else. Never sell. And it's like we're trying to bring that education to the everyday crypto user. Now, everybody who was involved in the Pulse chain sacrifice is in an amazing position, no doubt. Okay. But if their first thought is when they can exit, they're already prepping their mind to sell their best appreciating asset. And that's not the mentality that anyone needs to be in. They should be thinking, wow, this thing is going up in value. How do I get more of it? Or how do I hold on to it and never sell it? Now, understanding that people need to take some sort of value or obtain some sort of value, you know, you have the two options. That person sells like they've been taught, or how we've taught not to sell and still be able to get value out. And then they're able to keep their wealth for all time. So when that pulse goes up 100x, they still haven't let it go. When it goes up to 1,000x, they still got it. When it goes to 10,000x, they still have it. And when it reaches millions of x, they still have all that value retained. And now they went from whatever size they came in to unimaginable wealth. And that is the way that everybody needs to be thinking about maintaining their best appreciating asset. It's literally, it's not even about the loans. Listen, it's not even about the lending side. It's about hodling. This is a hodling platform. Don't let it go. And when you're tempted and you say, wow, I need to take some profits, do some math to yourself and say, well, I'm going to lose 36%. I'm going to take a percent in slippage. And my coin count, you have to calculate the future appreciating price of the coins you're about to sell. Do the math and look at how much you're about to let go whenever you sell, and then say, is it worth it to just sit and do nothing? Or maybe it is worth it to go and just collateralize against that. It's all about hodling and never letting it go.
Absolutely. But going back to Eric's question, he's wondering that can the governments come in and shut liquid loans down and stop DeFi borrowing?
Well, it runs on the blockchain.
Hmm.
A front end, all the front ends run on servers all around the world, right? We're going to have a front end with several redundancies. The community will be building other front ends all around the world. It literally will become unstoppable, just like other immutable protocols that reside over on ETH right now.
Yeah, just like you were saying, borrowing and lending isn't new to crypto. It's been going on for a long time in a centralized way, and now in the last few years in a decentralized way. And this is the future. So can things be stopped? You know, if nuclear bombs go off or aliens invade, but these are all imaginary horribles, right? Everything's been running fine. The Liquity, which Liquid Loans is forking, is running fine on Ethereum. It's running fine on Avalanche. And there's no reason why it's not going to run fine on Pulse Chain. It's going to run perfectly, 100%. We haven't even seen, am I right in saying that we haven't even seen Liquidity on Ethereum go into recovery mode? Is that correct?
Well, at the very beginning, it has to start in recovery mode.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. And then it may have entered it for like a really brief period of time when there's a big dump, but it did as designed and it fixed itself. Let me answer the second part of that guy's question though about special tax regulations. I'm no tax advisor. However, it would be really hard to try and tax people on loans, right? And if you do it to one asset class, you have to do it to the rest. So if you tax, let's say you went to borrow money to purchase a home, and then the government said, oh, on top of that, we're going to charge you 36% just because the bank gave you the money for that home. So now your home became 36% more expensive than it would have been. It would break industries. It would break, housing markets. It would also break crypto if they tried to do it here. The things that are taxed are when you sell an asset, you're never selling your asset here. Even if for some weird reason, a government said, we're going to tax that loan, okay, which is ridiculous. But let's just pretend they did. What happens when you pay it back? They would be obligated to give you that money back. What happens if you're liquidated, but you've already been taxed on the original thing? But because you're liquidated, now the government owes you. They're not going to subject themselves to that. It's impossible. Now, this isn't a loophole. Everyone seems to think this is some crazy invention that's brand new, that's never been done before. These same principles are applied to every other asset class known to man and already being applied for years over on Ethereum chain with no issues on crypto. This is nothing new. It's just that we're bringing it to Pulse Chain and educating the community. Hey, you haven't been paying attention. This actually exists and it actually works.
Yep. Follow the smart money in life, like we say. And I'm not just talking about in crypto. Obviously, there's smart money, whales, and what's not. But the smart money all around the world, right? People who have generational wealth already, they're using their best appreciating assets as collateral and then borrowing against them, watching that go up. So like Jesse said, it's the same in crypto. You're using your crypto as collateral. So if you sold it, you're going to have a taxable event. You're going to have no more future price appreciation. And maybe you got a 5 or a 10x. Is that really going to change your life? Where you can lock up your crypto in a smart wallet, in a vault, in a smart protocol, smart contract. You have the keys. You're not giving it to BlockFi or Celsius and hoping they don't get, screwed by the SEC or it gets hacked or whatever. So you're in control. I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer. And like you said before, unless you like paying, 10 to 40% capital gains tax, depending on where you're living in the world, unless you like not seeing any future gains, then of course, be our guest, sell your crypto. But if you want to hold on to the best appreciating asset that could be for the next couple of years, 5, 10 years, I mean, look what Ethereum's done. And Pulse Chain is going to be a cheaper, faster, more efficient, more environmentally friendly version of Ethereum. It would be wise to do as the smart money do and lock up their assets and borrow against them. So 100%.
It's just a smart way to do things. It's the smart contract, smart way to do things. There's certainly other ways to try and, be most tax advantaged, right? There's all this charitable foundations, charitable remainder trusts.
Yeah.
You can move to a whole nother place in the world, uproot your family, go somewhere else where, there's little or no taxes. A lot of complicated ways to do this, but you can easily just collateralize your asset. This is being done. It's done on Maker. That's how all DAI exists. It's done on Liquity. That's how all LUSD exists. And this is how people will be never selling their Pulse. Yes, it is simple. Yes, you have to be safe about your collateralization levels. It just makes sense.
Absolutely. PulseX asks, I heard you will start the platform about 2 months after Pulse Chain. Is it true information?
We have always said that we will try to be around 1 month, right? It could be more. We need for PulseX to, here's the process, right? We need the chain to exist with a working functional PulseX. From that point, we can pull some price feeds from Pulse. After the bridge is formed, there'll be other pairings and stuff. We'll find the most stable pairs on the PulseX. We'll be able to pull some price feeds and then input them into our code, finalize our audit, make sure everything's solid, and then launch. So could that take a month? We're hoping it takes a month. Could it take longer? Yes, it could take longer, but we're hoping a month.
It's software, guys. As we know, things can be delayed. Jesse, do you bet on liquid loans with collateralized PulseX before Hex if doing it to Pulse is successful?
So the challenge with using any token or coin besides the native coin of the chain, so in our case, that's Pulse. The challenge of using, say, PulseX is, what if the liquidity pools, the pairings, what if there's only 1 or 2 of them, or 3, even 4? It's highly doubtful that there's going to be tens of excuse me. I've been doing a lot of talking lately, so my throat's
He's losing his voice. He's on every stream ever under the sun, so guys, give him a break. He's on Twitter Spaces, live streams.
So the challenge is, it's best and safest to use the native coin because there's tens of thousands of liquidity pools. So it makes it really hard for any whale or nefarious person to wick a price and hold the price down on something that has token pairings across thousands and thousands of pools. Because right behind that guy who's trying to be a bad actor, there's arbitrage. There's bots that'll literally take his money. He'll wick the price down, and right behind him, there's bots that are just buying it back up because he just gave it to him at a discount. So if you try to do a protocol and use something like PulseX or Hex or something like that, and there's less liquidity pools, it's a lot easier for somebody to ruin your protocol by doing something in that other protocol. You're introducing risk when you allow collateralization of tokens that only have a handful of pairings. You want to use the native coin because it's just paired to everything, and it's impossible to manipulate the price.
Crypto Tiger asks, when will it go live and can it do 100x? Well, first off, we just talked about that we have to wait, obviously, for Pulse Chain to go live, and then we'll be live around a month or so after that. Can it do 100x? We don't give price predictions, but let me touch on the power.
We don't give price predictions, but I think what you'll find is the more you have to understand what happens when Pulse goes up in price, when Pulse itself hopefully goes up in price. The loans get bigger, which means more USDL comes into existence as Pulse grows in value. That's also why it's very important to launch a protocol like this at the beginning of a blockchain, so that as that blockchain coin Pulse goes up in value, more and more and more and more and more USDL find its way to the market because people are collateralizing to make it. You're going to find people who just want money. They're just borrowing. You're going to find people who are liquidity providers, and they want to mint USDL to go create pairings. You're going to find people who want to build fiat off ramps, say to themselves, hey, I need some USDL, so I'm going to mint a bunch of it and go create a fiat off ramp pool. Okay, you're going to find all sorts of things happening. And as the value of Pulse grows, more and more USDL finds its way into existence. That being said, remember, there's a fee that's taken off of all that. Every time somebody mints more, that goes to the stakers of the loan token. So when Pulse goes up in value, the fees get better for the stakers. When Pulse goes down in value, people are paying back their loans, and maybe the fees aren't as good. So the fees to the stakers of the loan token will expand and contract based on the value of Pulse itself. So whatever Pulse decides to do as far as X's, it is very easy for the loan token to do the same thing because of the value that it carries.
Absolutely. And the loan token, there's two tokens. Obviously, everyone needs to do their own research and come to their own conclusions. But I think me and Jess are on the same page here. There's two tokens that we never want to sell. One of them is Pulse, because we know the potential there. And obviously, you can collateralize that with the protocol, the Liquid Loans protocol. The other one is the loan token, because that is the fee generating token of the system. You park that in the staking pool, and any time somebody uses the system, whether to open a new loan, open a new vault, or redeem Pulse for USDL, you're going to be collecting fees. So day in, day out, passive income is how the rich get richer, right? They make money while they sleep. So if you have loans staked in the loan staking pool, you could be working, you could be at the gym, you could be sleeping, you could be on holiday, and that loan token is like an employee, or the number of loan tokens you have is employees that never sleep, just generating you income the whole time. So yes, it could do 100x, it could do 1000x, it could do whatever, but
the price doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So it matters, right? It matters. But to the staker, it doesn't matter. They're staking it for those fees. Now the value will grow, and the value will go up and down based on
the value will go up as well.
Token? What's that loan token worth? If that loan token's earning a bunch of fees, the value of the token's going up. But for the person who has it staked forever, they don't care about selling it. All they care about is raking in as much USDL from the fees as they can. And here's another interesting point. The fees are not going to a central institution like they would with some other platforms, such as like Celsius or BlockFi or something like that. And there's no interest, so there's no monthly payment for the borrowers, so that's enticing. But there is that one-time borrowing fee and that one-time redemption fee, and that goes to the stakers. Where do we think that money is going to end up, Matt? Where do you think most of that money is going to go for people who are earning USDL and Pulse from being a staker of the loan token?
Absolutely.
Where do you think the majority of that is going to go? When people are earning USDL, what happens next to the USDL? Where does it go?
Stability pool.
Or
buying more Pulse.
Or buying more Hex, or buying more PulseX, or buying more Link, or buying more Sheep, or whatever
around the system.
Right. It keeps it, whatever the community of participants are in this protocol, that USDL that they're earning will likely go to the things that they like. Think about that for a second. If you're earning USDL and you like Hex, you now have an endless supply of USDL to always buy Hex. Every time somebody takes a loan, you have some more fresh USDL to go buy more Hex. If you like PulseX and people are taking loans and you're earning the fees from those loans, you literally have a lifetime supply of USDL that you could just boot up your computer, say, here's how much USDL I made today or in the past hour or whatever the case may be, as often as you want. You take that and you go buy that PulseX that you like to buy. It gives you generational money printers, and it simply comes from the fees.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. It's just going to be flowing in the whole time. And the more people that use the system, we've done some modeling around this. Jexa has, The more people that use the system, the more Pulse goes up, the more collateral people have to pull out loans. I mean, it's just a beautiful cycle, the whole thing. And like Jesse said, the more USDL you make, you go and buy what you want. So you could buy more Pulse, more Hex, whatever. Aaron asks, if I set the referral link after I sacked, will I still get credited?
Yes.
Fantastic. If and when USDL gets listed on a central exchange, would they basically have to drain the USDL Pulse pool to stock up for users to trade with?
No. So there's a couple things they could do. You could have a big whale in the protocol that does an OTC trade with them. They just buy the USDL OTC. You could say, once you educate them about what USDL is all about, you could say, cool, here's how you get it. And an entity puts up collateral and mints USDL, and that's how they get it. Okay. All USDL that comes into existence has to be minted, right? So it's either them or it's the community. And where does it end up? It ends up in the dexes or it ends up in wallets, right? So if an exchange wants it, they're going to have to get it from somebody who has it in a wallet. And that person's put up collateral for that. Or they're going to have to just get it from one of the dexes themselves, right? So that's just how it is. Either DEX or OTC.
Okay. Gabe says, I brought 6K. You didn't buy anything. You sacrificed with no expectation. 1K towards getting coins in day one, and I tried to stake 5K for 24 months, but I completely forgot to put 0.24. Should I see 5K worth of? I'm not sure what that question even means, but if you forgot to put 24 on it, then it will just come out on day one. So yeah, that's what's going to happen with that. Crypto Tiger asks, thanks for the answer. What APR do you get staking the loan token on average? We don't know that, and we won't know that. That will depend on the sacrifice, how many people are in the pool. So,
how big the loans are, how many participants are. Happens to be pretty good on the other chains.
Yeah.
Like really good. So we'll see.
When music video of Liquid Loan song?
Soon.
We need to get you an agent, and we need to get you in Hollywood and recording a music video.
I've got some film work I'm doing next week, but doesn't have anything to do with music. It's
a shame, man. Also, when official Liquid Loan merch, watch this space. Watch this space. Has anyone? Is there a percentage of the loan carved out for the Liquid Loan team vesting period?
Yes.
Just like all crypto. Okay, cool. So one thing I want to touch on, because there's just lots of comments here and no questions, is the sacrifice phase has now ended the first 10 days, meaning it's not 10,000 points for every stable coin. That being said, that doesn't mean that you still can't get the same rate, or if not even a better rate. And how you do that is by locking up your coins by putting a decimal point after your sacrifice. So you can still get the same rate or even a better rate by locking up your coins for between 1 and 24 months. And what that's going to do is you're going to get a 6% increase on your coin count every single month. And on the last month, if you lock up for 24 months, you'll get 12%. So even though the first 10 days is over, you can still get a better rate in the first 10 days if you use delayed gratification, which we all know works, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Lock it up. Lock it up. Listen, it's only a 5% decrease or increase in. It's just a 5% curve every day for the next 20 days.
Yeah.
But you can completely offset that with a 6% lockup. You just say, oh, okay, 5% decrease today. Let me lock up for 1 month and I'll get 6%. So you actually come out ahead.
Get more. Yeah. You'll get more. And Jesse, you've touched on this, but let's reiterate this. You might get a 2x or a 3x or whatever, but that's different to having more coins, isn't it? Coin count is so important on good protocols.
Coin count.
Yeah. Coin count is important because you want to get a good position on any crypto, which is a good project, and then increase that coin count. That's why you want the opposite of selling. Because selling, yes, you might even sell on a double or you might sell in profit, but you're withering away your coin count until you have a fraction of what you had at the start. and you only have a certain amount. When you never sell, or you use the bonus multiplier by locking up, you're increasing that coin count. And maybe if you're using the Liquid Loans protocol to borrow against your Pulse, you're using that USDL to go and buy more of what you already have. So again, increasing the coin count. That should be the game for anyone.
I want to help Tyler out here for a second. Tyler M says he thinks we're skirting around important questions. No idea what the APY will be. Well, it's not really a loaning company. Like, you're not getting USDL from an entity. You mint your own USDL off of your own Pulse, and it's a smart contract, completely immutable. Nobody's handing you the money. Nobody's setting or fixing a rate. There's no interest rate. There's a one-time borrowing fee. That borrowing fee goes to the community of stakers. Okay? We have zero control of that. Like, we could go on streams and we could tell people about this and maybe educate a whole bunch of people to come in. There's going to be all sorts of people doing that over the coming months and years. But literally nobody can change any sort of rates at all or fix any rates with a push of a button. It's impossible. The fees that the stakers are earning literally comes from the volume. So more people that take a loan, or the more dollar USDL value that's minted, the more of the fees, like, it just makes the fees more straight to the stakers. So it's completely out of our control. Nobody fixes the rates.
Mick Mon asks, what do you see as the biggest threat to liquid loans? What if Pulse dumps? Wouldn't someone with a lot of USDL drain liquid loans of its Pulse?
Well, if Pulse dumps, like a 90% market dump in a day, so you have to think, well, who dumps Pulse, right? The whales, the same whales that just sacrificed, the largest holders in Pulse. Are they going to dump Pulse and then destroy the protocol that they're interested in, that they just sacrificed, in belief of? I don't think so. But like, people believe that a whale will just like dump, liquidate a bunch of people, try and get a bunch of USDL, and it literally doesn't work. This protocol is designed to prevent that. So, for example, let's say you have a whale and he says, I'm going to market dump $10 million worth of Pulse. Okay. He literally just gave his coins away. He caused a huge spread on that liquidity pool. Our bots came in and bought it back up at a huge discount. He just gave away all his coins for free. Okay. And what is he holding? He's either holding a bunch of USDL, or he's holding a bunch of SHIB, or a bunch of whatever, right? He had to buy something when he dumped. Okay. Like, there's no benefit to him giving his bags up. Now, he maybe wicked the price on one single DEX, one single pairing, but that had no impact to the rest of the protocol, because the protocol is looking for price feeds across lots and lots of them, and they're time weighted averaging them, right? So what did he actually do? Did he even manage to liquidate one account? Probably not even one. And even if a single guy got liquidated because of this weird wick this whale created by dumping away all his bags and giving his money away, that guy who was liquidated, he already got his money up front because he got a loan. He got USDL. And the Pulse from that vault that was liquidated does not go to that whale that dumped and was an idiot. It goes to the community and gets spread across all those stability depositors. How do you drain liquid loans of Pulse? Could you do a redemption? There's another way to get Pulse with USDL besides just going to a DEX. You could do what's called a redemption, where you have some USDL in your wallet. You say, well, I want to get some Pulse. And you come back into the protocol and you click the redeem button. But the fee ratchets up and ratchets up and ratchets up, where the fee's more than just going to a DEX and swapping it. So, like, nobody's, like, unless it's severe volatility, when people need to do that redemption to peg the price back, it doesn't make sense for somebody to come in and just give away free money when they could just go to a DEX and swap instead. So, like, I understand your concern, but it just doesn't work the way you
There's protocols in place to decentivize and incentivize depending on what's going on with the health of the system. So
right.
if the system's in a certain way, then it will decentivize borrowing or incentivize it and redeeming at the same thing, depending on what's going on. Scott asks, are the bonus rates compounded for lock coins? No, you get a 6% every month apart from the last month, which is 12%. I didn't add a decimal. Where can I do this? Then your coins will come out on day one.
When you send, yeah, let me tell people. So when you go to send coins, you put in the quantity. So you put in, I want to send, 300 and a half chain link, for example. Now that's not accepted in the sacrifice, by the way, but I'm just giving you an example. You would put 300.5 and it would send, you click send, confirm, pay the gas fee, and then 300 and a half, right, gets sent off from my address to another address. And the same with stable coins are the same way. You want to send, 500.12 stable coins, 500.12. That's the quantity. You click next on MetaMask, and then it asks you to confirm the transaction. Make sure on the confirm screen it says the same thing, and you're sending a quantity. The fee will come out of the ETH. Don't look at the dollar value of the USDC or whatever stable coin you're using. The dollar values move around. You care about the quantity that you're going to send.
Okay, I need to answer this. Corey's said something that's wrong. He said, when Pulse drops and you have a loan, it's like a stop loss. The stakers with the loan token get that Pulse. That's not true. Any liquidated vaults is spread among the stability providers. The loan stakers get the fees of the system. So they get the fees from people redeeming USDL for Pulse and also getting a loan. Opening a new
He's close though. It is like a stop loss. You already got all that value up front.
Yeah.
And then it goes to not the stakers, it goes to the stability depositors.
Yeah. Okay, this guy keeps talking in this. He's measured this multiple times. DM our Twitter account, okay? But we can't promise anything.
Yeah, so here's the problem. For people who forgot to put the right decimal, or they put the wrong they forgot to put the right one, or they realized after the fact, oh, I wish I would have staked for, locked for a certain period. Listen, it's all on the blockchain. So if people see us going in and you see later, you hope to see stuff be allocated certain ways to people, right? If we're doing things differently than what the blockchain shows, that causes a lot of fear, uncertainty, doubt. What the heck's going on? Why is that address there getting this much when he said that he wanted this much or wanted it to be locked for this period, right? It creates a lot of drama, and it's really, really hard. Now, if somebody sent the wrong thing, it's like, well, you should have followed directions, but it's easier to say, okay, everyone makes mistakes. We're nice people, we can honor that. But if somebody does the decimal point wrong, and then the things that happen later don't align with the choices or what the Etherscan shows, that's not good. It's like literally not good. But you can talk about it with Scottish Dave at I am Scottish Dave on Telegram, and he'll give you a reply. It might be very similar to mine, but basically the people who have these concerns because they screwed something up, he'll take your information, he'll put it onto a list, and if there is something that can be done, then perhaps somebody will help you. No expectations.
Yeah, listen, guys. I mean, the good thing about crypto is you are your own bank. The bad thing is you are your own bank, right? So you have to make sure when you send it, you have to check the address, triple check the address. And especially when you're doing something like this, where you're putting on a decimal point, make sure it's the right amount. Because, like Jesse said, it's not going to look good if things are changed around and things aren't going to add up. So just double, triple, quadruple check the address you're sending to. And also, here's another thing. I've seen scams, people running fake sacrifice phases using the Liquid Loans name. So double, triple, quadruple check the address before you sacrifice, please. Hang on. Corey asks, so there will be a liquidity providing and staking option for our loan token. Explain more. Please explain. It helps as well.
Yeah, there'll be liquidity providing incentives for USDL liquidity providing. So, for example, take some USDL. It doesn't matter where you get it from. Go buy it from a DEX or mint some yourself. And then you can pair that to Pulse or pair that to Hex, for example, and get paid in loan tokens because there's a release pool waiting there to trickle out loan tokens to you for doing that, incentivizing you to help build those pools up. Okay. Now, as far as staking, yeah, you can stability deposit with your USDL into the stability pool and you'd earn loan tokens. Okay. But then you can take loan tokens and those are what gets staked for the fees in the protocol, both the borrowing and the redemption fees.
Yeah. Yeah, getting your coins on day one is not a complete loss. Of course not. You're still going to get your tokens. You're just not going to be locked up. Yeah. So it's not like you're going to lose it.
Like, don't make it sound so bad. Like you get them day one and you can start earning those fees immediately.
Yep. JC knows what it's about. Crypto rules, double and triple check. Then before you send, check it again. Exactly. Because there's in crypto, normally, unless someone's very, very nice, there's no reversible transactions. Can Pulse reach $50? Anything's possible, but we don't give price predictions on this channel. USDL to dollars without paying tax, taking out a loan, how to get the stable coin to my bank account and prove to the tax office that I have a loan, documentation to prove it's a loan.
All right. So like a lot of other crypto, Hex, for example, you swap it. And then you swap into something that you can send to Coinbase, for example. USDL. You swap it for Pulse, swap it for Chainlink, swap it for whatever that you can bridge to get to a place to pick up a coin that you can send to Coinbase or to crypto.com or Kraken or any of these fiat off-ramps. Now, that's necessary for all tokens on blockchain. You have to swap into something that any of these fiat off-ramps carry. Now, to show that it's a loan, well, you have the blockchain explorer, and you have the DApp. And you can show, look, I put up collateral, I haven't sold. And the way the paperwork works, it's kind of cool if you use something like Coinly, I think, and link it to Coinbase. When you send anything into Coinbase, it has no idea what your cost basis is. Now, like, you could take money from MetaMask, send it to Coinbase, and yes, it'll be generated on your report, but it'll leave, like, it's on you or your tax guy to put what your cost basis for that was. So you have a couple options. You could put like the same cost basis as the value of that thing, or you can just completely eliminate it altogether because it's a loan. The choice is yours. And then later on, if you ever get audited, you still have the records to show, yep, that was a loan. Loans, like when I get a loan from a bank, I don't report that on my taxes. If I get a loan from crypto, depending on the swap process to get out, you might also not have to report that on your taxes at all. Or if you do, you could put a cost basis that zeroes it out. Talk to your tax attorney.
When you say there will be incentivized pools between loan and other tokens, where would those pools be? On Liquid Loans itself or on PulseX?
Well, actually on PulseX, using Liquid Loans as the front end, right? So you could go, so basically integrated, you come to Liquid Loans, it gives you an option to create a token pairing. You say, okay, cool, I want that option. And because you did that, then it knows, okay, cool, I'm going to give this guy some loan tokens. But it's actually on the back end providing that liquidity over on PulseX. You see this a lot all across different DeFi protocols. Like you can go to all sorts of DeFi stuff. And sometimes their front end gives you 2, 3, 4 different options to provide liquidity, but it's actually providing that liquidity over on like Uniswap, for example.
So Tyler, yes, to counteract, so going back to what we were talking about earlier, if you've missed the first 10 days, to counteract that 5% increase on the bonding curve by locking up for 1 month or 2 months, you're now going to counteract that. In fact, you'll still get a better rate. So if you locked up for 1 month today, you'd get a better rate than sacrificing yesterday and coming out on day one, and so on and so on. The maximum rate is 24 months, and make sure you put decimal point and then the amount of months. 1 to 24 is the amount that you can do. Anything over 24 is null and void and goes back to 0. Have a question. If you locked up your liquid loans token for a specific time, do you also earn fees on them? No, you don't. You either lock them up and get the bonus multiplier, so you increase your coin count, or you don't lock them up, you get them day one and you stick them in the staking pool and then you earn fees. You don't do both. And nobody can tell you which one's better. So could you use USDL for liquidity providing on your platform? The only liquidity for loan token is staking. You could be a stability provider and put USDL into the stability pool and then earn the loan token, and then you stake that.
The only utility for loan token is staking. Well, it's actually incentivizing liquidity providing. It's incentivizing the stability depositors, and it's a way for all the fee revenue to go back to the community, right? So it's literally not just a bolt-on token like some protocols have. It's very important. It's like a key. It's a huge part of this protocol. It's not just, oh, it's just a staking token. It like makes this protocol tick.
Who will create the initial liquidity for loan pair on PulseX?
Maybe the community, right? Because like we're literally more concerned about USDL because 99.9% of the people who have loan tokens care about staking it now and never selling it, because it's just endless like fee generation just by staking it. But there will be community members that see value and say, oh, I'm going to go create a liquidity pool. Anybody can do that. Like it doesn't have to be me or Matt or whoever. Like anybody can go take their loan tokens and go create a liquidity pool. You may find USDL pools, small USDL pools that are incentivized for the community to add to. But as far as loan token, have at it. Create the pools, set the price, do whatever you're going to do. You will get them at zero value, hopefully.
How do you drop coins at zero value after a 2-year lockup?
Because they're actually there on day one inside of a smart contract.
We've got someone who wants to help make you a rock star.
Awesome. Find me on Telegram.
No, listen, we need him at Liquid Loans. Don't make him a rock star. Don't pull him away. We can't deal without. I know he's multi-talented, but come on, we need the galaxy brain here. So I did delayed gratification and a regular sack. Which one? We'll see which one wins in 2 years. Yeah, I mean, we don't know. This question and this statement comes up a lot. You know, do I lock up or do I get it on day one and put it in the staking pool? Nobody knows at first. Of course, we don't know this, but we think the fees are going to obviously ratchet up over time. The more people, obviously, that use the system, that's kind of common sense. The difference is you're getting a coin count on your bonus multiplier. So if you lock up for 24 months, you're increasing your coin count by 2.5x, which, as we've talked about in crypto, you want to get into a good position on an asset and then increase that coin count, because now you're going to be getting more price appreciation. And with a loan token, the bigger your percentage of the staking pool, the more fees you're going to be collecting. So that's what you're going to be dealing with. Have you got that delayed gratification? Can you wait 2 years and get 2.5x on your coin count? Or do you want to be earning fees straight away? Everyone's in a different position in their life. Everyone has different commitments. So we can't tell you which one's better. You know, you have to sit down and think for yourself and think, what do I want? Do I want it now or do I want it later? Okay, someone's spamming the chat. So they're going to go. Jesse, my man, I love you, brother. After launch, maybe the community can set up a Liquid Loans fishing tournament. Winner will get your Liquid Loan song as an NFT.
That sounds like a lot of fun, man.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
We'll answer the next question too. Will there be an OA that sacrifices at the end of this phase? An origin address is the address that all tokens originate from initially. Loan token don't exist yet. How can there's not an origin address? Like there's no such thing as an OA because the tokens don't exist yet until the protocol goes live. So that's literally impossible. Which will lead to a follow-up question. Will there be a massive sacrifice phase by one single entity? If you're referring to like liquid loans, there can be no expectations. If you're referring to, there's nothing preventing Godwell from coming back in with another 20 mil, right? This is available for anybody. So no expectations.
I think we've got the most important question of the day. Jesse, how important is delaying gratification when looking for a life partner, and how long do you want to stay for?
What an odd question.
What an odd question. Pump the sack phase. Last one before we go for a little rendition of your favorite song. Jesse, the pit boss, is a rock star. Looks like we've got through all our questions today, unless there's any more. No, everyone's excited about the sacrifice phase, about the launch of Pulse Chain and Liquid Loans. So we're going to sign off. Anything else, Jesse, you want to touch on before we say
so remember, listen, the first 10 days is over. But there's still 20 days left, and you can still actually capture a really good rate. Yes, the rate is increases by 5% every day, but you can offset that by simply locking for 1 month. 1 month, 6%, 2 months, you'll get 12%, so on and so forth, all the way out to 2 years. So consider that because 20 days from now, the opportunity is gone.
Let's go get that guitar, man. They want it. They want the show.
Again?
Yeah. They want it. Let's go.
Wow. I'm never selling no. I'm never letting my pulse go. I'm holding out forever. Yeah, I'm taking a loan. 0 interest, yeah. No keys. Oh, amazing wealth creation in the liquid loan seas. I'm never selling no. I'm never letting my pulse go. I'm holding out forever. Yeah, I'm taking a loan.
Jesse is not only a galaxy brain, he is a rock star. But listen, music producers and, agents, just hold back a little bit. We still got some work to do here at Liquid Loans. Guys, as Jesse said, the first 10 days of the sacrifice phase is over, but you can still get the same rate. In fact, you can get a better rate if you delay your gratification. So for any more info on the sacrifice phase, do head over to thesacrifice.io. And if you have any more questions, jump into our Telegram group, t.me/liquid loans. Also, guys, if you're watching and you're just lurking on the Liquid Loans YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button and that bell icon so you're notified every time we drop new videos. Also, hit the like button, give us a thumbs up, drop a comment below for the algo if you're watching the playback. Thank you so much, guys. Happy Tuesday. I hope you're all going to have a fantastic week, and we will see you on the next one. Peace.